Hello guys and welcome to the Pinnacle, the 7.3 points, the Pinnacle of Chapter 3 I should say, the 7.3.6 quest with the Kang fight on the end. So we will be doing a sort of all-round Kang phase breakdown when we get to his fight, but first we'll start off with the path nodes, who you'll be fighting and best attackers to bring in. So you've got, on this one you've got the bubble shield, as we saw in the Warlock fight last time, 10 hits and then the next hit is unblockable. Crumbling armor, so if the attacker hasn't landed a hit in 6 seconds, you will receive a armor break. If an armor break is active on the attacker when they trigger an armor up buff, an additional armor break is triggered. This isn't that big an issue, just stay aggressive and you'll never really see an armor break on you, and if you do, it's nothing really to worry about, just don't get hit. After a successful parry, you will put an armor break on the defender, reducing their armor rating by 1,000 for 15 seconds. However, these do not stack. The gloves are off whenever a tech attacker removes their own armor buff or it expires. It is removed by an armor break. They have a 30% chance to gain a fury buff, increasing attack rating. So basically, if your armor buff ends, so if you are using somebody like Hulkbuster, or let's say somebody really bad like Silver Warrior, whose armors always fall off, you will gain a fury buff then when they fall off, or you have a 30% chance to, which will increase your attack rating by 50%. So this doesn't always happen. For example, with my Ultron here, he sometimes loses his armor breaks. He would get a fury sometimes, and sometimes he wouldn't. And then you've also, the final node on this one is Scrap Wars. Whenever the attacker is inflicted with an armor break, the defender gains an armor buff. Whenever the defender is inflicted with an armor break, the attacker gains an armor up buff. So obviously, if their armor broken, your armor upped. And this just works really nicely in your favor. It means you take less damage to block damage. It almost is making this path very, very easy for you. This is by far the easiest path. I saw MCOC Noob's original video saying what the easiest path was, and I just think that one is maybe a little bit too complex. I do think his guys are absolutely amazing, and they were the ones who have sort of given me the idea to make these videos. But on just this one, he does mention in the video that this is probably the easier one if you've not got the exact counters to his other easiest path. So this one is by far the easiest. So tech champs with armor work really, really nicely. Or you just bring any champ. Like here, I do this fight with Rintra. He works really, really well. You get the armor break. You do a lot of damage. You don't necessarily need that fury if you've got champs who do a lot of damage. So like someone like Rintra works fine. Hercules again works fine. Ghost works fine. Kitty Pryde works really well. Aegon, if you build them up, works really good. And then obviously you've got like your Dooms and champs like that who again work really really well. So it's not really too much of an issue here. Boosts can be useful, but again, I don't think you really need them, because I would say that this one is a very easy path. It's not too challenging at all. You've got easy defenders on it. You've got the Colossus, who's easy with because you're bringing in tech champs. Cyclops, who with Ultron works really well. And then yeah, there aren't really too many difficult fights on here. There's quite a few mutants on defenders on the path as well, meaning that you always basically have class advantage a lot of the time. So yeah, not too tricky. Just make sure you bring in those tech attackers for this, and they can really help you. Getting on to the just talking about the Kang fight. Hopefully you guys would have seen my community post where I said this quest was my initial time doing it. I didn't record the second time, but basically what happened was I did it once, I completed it, opened all the crystals, and it wasn't recording. So it stopped recording about a quarter of the way through the Kang fight, and then that second recording that I'd started wouldn't save due to iPhone storage. As I've said to you guys in previous videos, this is a sort of a common occurrence. This keeps happening, and is sort of I am gonna get a new phone or try and fix this storage issue. I did just this time as well, like I do need to check it more. I need to stop it halfway through the fight and try again, but I just did forget to do that, and that's completely my fault, and it does make me very angry. but there's nothing I can do about it now. So these are all my fights from the initial thing. As you can see here, I've got the clear lines, you know, like or the dashed lines to say that this is my first run. The Masakre is the way you want to go here. Yeah, but this is my first run. I did the Kang for quite a few revives. I will explain that when I get or quite a few units when I get there. However, doing it a second time, I just absolutely smashed it. I did it with like 2 revives, I believe it was. I mean, Galen is a massive cheese for it, but again, we'll get onto that. We'll get onto the Kang fight when we get there. For the rest of this, as I said, it's relatively easy. Probably the hardest one left is the Overseer because of his auto block. But you'll see, I just take in Null, and if I'm honest with you guys, you don't really need the techs. Like, they definitely help for the mutants because there's 3 mutants. You know, 50% of this path are mutants, but you can bring in any champ you want, and they do work really, really well. What I'll do is I'll leave you to sort of see the rest of these videos. If you are struggling with, say, the Overseer fight or the Professor X, the video, you know, you'll still see me fighting the champs. They will be sped up a bit. For Overseer, you just remember that his auto block is your second hit of him. So if he has the auto block symbol active, your first block will not be auto blocked, but your second will. So just prepare for that. Do a medium, a light, and then instantly dash back, or you can just instantly block and he doesn't hit into it, or bring somebody who counters auto blocks, so a Falcon, a Nick Fury, or who just shuts it down completely. Other than that, the fights are very easy. The Professor X one right at the end, again, is very easy. He just make sure you watch for his falter, and that isn't too much of an issue. But I think I'm going to leave you guys with these fights, and see you in the Kang fight, and we will jump in through all the phases of that and talk through how that goes. Hi guys, so that Professor X fight is done. Again, very easy with the Warlock. But now we get onto the Kang. I would first say you don't need to just character select for somebody with full health. Hyperion, it works really well for this. Anyone who has power gain works really well. That is because there are 4 phases, sorry, to this Kang. Phase 1 is called time collapse, which is another word for Kang. Do you remember the vulnerability in the Grandmaster fight? That's the same for this Kang fight. I have kept this as normal speed, so it will look a lot slower, but this is really just normal speed, because then it's easy to follow. So how it works is there are timer prompts. So in the right-hand corner there, you see the 1. That means that I need to be at either 1 bar of power by the time the timer ends, or at 3 bars of power. If you don't reach the 1, you will take direct damage. Roundabout on my rank 3s is about 30%, so it is quite a lot of damage that you do take. So you do have to be really wary of that. Heavy attacks do pause this timer as well. So what I did for the when it said 0 was just basically constantly Dex's attacks. As I said earlier on in the video, this is my I have recorded basically I've done this fight twice now because the first one failed. But phase 1, all you have to do is get 3 power charges. A power charge is you gain a power charge after you complete one of the timer prompts. So that is throwing an SP1 when it says 1, throwing an SP2 when it says 2, throwing an SP3 when it says 3, or having no bars of power. You can also end that phase on that. So if it says 2 and you've got 2 bars of power and it ends, you will get that power charge. But the first phase is 100 to 91%. You will see that I actually, in this first run, I didn't realise that that I had gone over the 91%, because what had happened was Gallon had thrown his, he had won. Kang, he had got to enough harvest. He'd thrown his heavy attack. He'd done the power charge, but then the Kang was hit with a harvest. That harvest obviously did about 9% of his damage, and Kang went down into phase 2, which is 90 to 51%. This time, you get time collapse or the vulnerability after 4 power charges, and you get this for 10 seconds, so it gives you a lot more time to do damage. SB1 is very, very important for this fight. It's very, very vital. So here, as you can see, it says it's SP2. I should probably wait until I do this correctly. So I throw a heavy attack here. So if you dex his SP1, you gain power. As you can see there, I gained a lot. And then if you block it, you get... you drain power. So here I have a special 2, I end up chucking it, I get the power charge. So really this is the perfect way. In phase 1, the power you gain and the power you drain that is drained from you is quite minimal, and it goes up with the stages. So in this phase, I'm gaining a lot more power than maybe I was in phase 1 by dexing. If you get hit by them, you get stunned for 2 seconds. So this is a really long stun. And on his SP2, he does, as you can see, their special and power lock you. So you want to keep him to that SP1. The SP1 is also a really great way of keeping you in the correct, power charge, or saying within the correct special attack. So say your next one is 3 bars of power, or you need an SP3, but you don't have 3 bars of power. You want to get him to that SP1. You want him to chuck it then, and then you can basically dex all 3 of the ones. They're quite easy to dex. Once you've seen it once, you'll be able to dex it quite a lot. But yeah, that will help you to either gain power and then also just block it to drain your power. So if you're at 3 bars of power and you need to be down at 2, just drain your power, and it goes a lot easier. There are some great boss options for this. Obviously, Doom works really well. Hyperion works. Champs who get a lot of power works. So if you've got a 0 and then a 3, obviously those champs really help you get up to your 3. But I would say Gallon is absolutely incredible. The reason he's so good is that Kang is not Gallon still does regular harvest damage to Kang. So it doesn't matter whether he has time collapse on or not, he still will take the same amount of damage as he would from the harvest. So what you can do here is you can just, put your harvest on, throw your SP1. If it's, say, it's asking for an SP2, that obviously pauses it because it's asked for one. As you can see here, I basically do it perfectly. I heavy attack, throw my SP1, get him to his SP1, then I dex it to gain enough power for the next one, throw my SP1 again, or I should have thrown my SP1 again then, and that allows you to get another time loop, or also the power loop, a power charge. Another really key thing to remember here is, so you've got, I will run over these key things at the end of the fight or after I've been through them, so make sure you look out for that if you're looking for some help. Another key thing is they're crossfight. So the power charges are crossfight. So for example, for the first one, you need 3 power charges. For the second one, you need 4. And for the third one, you need 6. What I would recommend doing is, and what I did on the sort of the first run, is that for the first phase, if I obviously had Gallon, so I harvest. But if you've got other champs who do a lot of direct damage, like Quicksilver, build all your if your champs are going to die, get them to 2 power charges. Obviously, these are all crossfight, and then if they die, they'll die on 2. That means that he doesn't go into time collapse. You keep your 2, and then it means you can do so much damage after this, or into sort of the next phase. Especially as phase 3 is 6 power charges are needed for him to go into time collapse. You lose 1 bar of power every second, and you're power drained by 50% if you use the same combo ending attack twice. So if you're going medium, light, medium, and then you try and do that again, it will cause you to take basically 50% of your damage is reduced, and or is power drain, sorry, so that can make it more difficult to get to the next bits. However, these are, while you're in the fight, you won't be thinking about these things, especially in each phase. They're not really that important. I would definitely say that it's not something that you really need to be worrying about. You just need to make sure that you use his SP1 to your advantage, you get enough of the power charges on, and that allows him to go into time collapse, and you can do basically a lot of damage. Champs who do a lot of damage quickly, so like a Hercules, a Shang-Chi, are really, really useful for this, because obviously when he's time collapsed, you want to do as much possible damage like you did in the Grandmaster. But yeah, the keys for this are: use his SP1 to your advantage, dexing is power gain, blocking is power drain. Make sure that you utilize this crossfight if you're about to die with 2 power charges, and you'll be able to keep those for sort of phase 3 when you need 6, which is quite a lot to build up. But also, champs with direct damage can help, but it's not the be-all and end-all. This isn't the easiest fight. This is obviously my second run. You can see I've done this with 2 revives. I didn't revive until you saw this section, so it was only 2 revives. It's just it's not too tricky once you've done it once, and the longer you're in the fight, you will start to work it out a lot easier, and you'll be able to you'll see the prompts, you'll be able to get to those, and it'll be much, much quicker. I hope this ability breakdown of Kang has really helped you out. I would really appreciate a like and a comment if it has, or if just let me know how you found it. Did you use a lot of revives? Did you find it quite hard? I would be really, really interested in seeing this. This, again, is another really, really fun fight, especially with his special ones, giving you sort of power gain or power drain. Again, use that to your advantage. The last phase is phase 4. I have not said that yet, so I do apologise. Phase 4, power loop is completely removed, and it's a race to your SP3. You can't do any damage unless it's an SP3. However, Ganon can do... he can still do his harvest damage, which works perfectly for me here. You'll see that Kang basically just dies as soon as my harvest ends, and that's the fight for me. But it is a race to your SP3. So he is unblockable, and his SP1 and SP2 are locked, so it is just a race. If you're close to him, you gain power. If you're far away, he gains power. So really, it's just get as close as possible to him, and this will be quite easy, and you probably will win the race there. This is why champs who get power gain are really good, like a Hyperion or a Vision Arcus, as you can see here. As I said, this was a replay. I had to do it a second time to show you guys and give you a run through of the phase. So you won't, unfortunately, be able to see the crystals I did open. You get 26 stones for completing this Kang fight. You also get 20,000 6-star shards. I obviously use these to open 2 6-star basics. I got Joe Fixit and Vision Arcus. Really happy with the Vision Arcus. He is somebody I really wanted. I loved as a 5-star and really wanted early. It's just I've got so many cosmic champs now with the Hyperion, the Gore, the Null, the Gallon. There are just so many really, really good champs, and there's just not room for all of them in my questing, so that is a real shame. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I'm sorry that I had to re-record it and you didn't get to see my first initial fight on the Kang fight, but the rest of it was all me. Thank you so much for watching. I do apologise for this, but I hope that 7.4 will be a much smoother ride. See you all in that. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.